5:30 right now in the morning, and New York session was last night, but I tried to record a trade recap yesterday, but I ended up recording just my face, and obviously that isn't really productive, so I'm gonna re-record it today. And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna wait until New York market close, which is like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. my time, so I'm usually awake for the first couple of hours of New York. Yeah, so I thought I'd wait for that so I could give you guys a little bit more to analyze. And yesterday I took no trades due to the government shutdown and speculation of choppy movement, and also with the rate cuts being put on hold from the feds, it's also causing bearish indication. Then the government shutdown is kind of causing bullish indication. So with news potentially being delayed, like PPI and things like that, internal structure is showing pretty choppy movements. I don't really feel comfortable in taking a trade. So that was my analysis yesterday. Looking at the 4-hour right now, explain to you guys more of what I'm seeing. But first, I'm just going to go through a few of the other things, because I feel like a lot of the trading, I feel like to trade gold, you kind of have to be in line with what's going on in the world. So I'm going to go through a few things. So we've got obviously Forex Factory. Yesterday, what was it? Yeah, yesterday we had the what am I looking at? Yeah, okay, wait, let me refresh. And we'll go back. Okay, we have unemployment claims coming out tonight, CPI. Oh no, that one doesn't matter, so just unemployment claims. Okay, yesterday we had the non-farm employment change, which was obviously bad for currency, which is supposed to be good for gold. And then we had the PMI, which was better than expected, which is good for the currency, like good for the US dollar, but then that means it's bad for gold. So we have these two newses kind of clashing with each other. And then we had the US government shutdown. I don't really know what to tell you guys about this. I recommend that you read it yourself, because I'm not really tapped in with everything that happens in the US, because I live in Australia, so it doesn't really obviously it affects me, but not to a huge extent. But I read part of this article, but basically what I kind of gathered was that the US government, something about passing a bill didn't get passed to pay government workers, so people that work in national parks, people that work in different places, either have been sent home with no pay, or they've been made to work but they're not going to get pay until the shutdown is over. So a lot of people are just not showing up for work, and yeah, so that's essential workers. I could be wrong, so I recommend you guys do your own research, and if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments so everyone can see. But because I'm completely okay with being wrong, because I'm just not tapped in like that with politics. But from what I've read and from what I've listened to, I believe it's nurse workers working in airport security, and people working in passport processing, the passport process. I don't even think they basically made to work but just not get paid, so that they kind of stop working, and then it stops the flow of things. So that's why news and stuff is delayed. But yeah, so let's get on to the charts. So that was all happening, and then of course we've been having the rate cut speculations going on, and then I think they went forward, but I'm not sure. And then I heard on one of my podcasts, because I listened to the Concept Market Update podcast, and the NAB 5 in 5, and also the NAB Morning Call, which is kind of where I get a lot of my kind of update on the world, when it comes to rate cuts and things like that. So I'm pretty sure they said that the rate cuts were put on hold, which caused gold to push down. It's been pushing all-time highs. But anyway, let's get into the analysis. So we've got the 4-hour chart right here. You can see that obviously gold is in an uptrend. So yesterday it pushed up, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, it pushed up and it retraced, and then it began to push forward again. So the day before yesterday, it made this push up, and then this was the day before, and then this was basically last night's movement. You can see it did not move. It literally didn't move. It moved, but it obviously that was the day open, and then what if we can go to the daily candle? maybe that will show. Yeah, so like the open and the close, it just barely even moved. Is that the current open? I don't even know. I don't know if it's currently open still. Well, surely that candle's open. Like, I'm so tired, guys. Like, I just can't right now. But I need to give you guys. Well, I want to give like an analysis. But anyway, I feel like I don't remember seeing that candle. Why isn't? So yesterday, basically, I saw gold make this movement up. I was like, okay, that's bullish indication. And then I hopped onto TikTok. I realized all of this stuff happened. So I was like, well, I don't really think I'm going to trade by default just because I have never traded in these market conditions before. And I haven't backtested in any of this data and I just don't really know what's going to happen. But yeah, so I saw that gold made this indication up. It made a very, very clean retracement. It actually got to later, yes, you can see this position that I had planned out. But you'll see like, I'll explain to you guys how later in the day I was actually really conflicted and I was actually thinking of entering, which is crazy because obviously the market with the government shutdown is going to be moving a bit crazy. So yeah, I was thinking of entering and I'm glad I didn't. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, we can see that we got this little bit of choppy sideways movement here. We got this clean indication, a correction, and then I was obviously expecting a continuation. That's what I wanted to see, but with the government shutdown, we can't really be sure as to what's happening in the market right now. And then when we go back to the 15-minute, we can see a few things kind of going on now. You can see there's a little bit more information on the charts. We had this choppy movement, so obviously this was the day before yesterday. It was moving pretty choppy. Like obviously we got some clean movements throughout the sessions, like Asia session. Made a clean bullish movement, London, clean bearish movement to a bullish movement, and then New York, you got the continuation of that, and then this is obviously very, very choppy. I got confused because I saw this, I was like, that is not a session. But yeah, pretty choppy movement over here, so it's been pretty choppy. Then we opened up choppy, and then made this indication correction with no continuation, and it's just been choppy since. What we can see if you zoom into directly yesterday is massive seller volume, and you can see the candle's not big enough for it to be like, oh my god, like, do you know what I mean? Oh, actually, did I lie? Look how big that candle is, actually. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, like, I didn't see the on that candle, but even just the candle close itself, like you can see that it wasn't like a massive candle. So this was a huge imbalance of volume here, which really just goes to show that like if I was to take a buy, probably wouldn't be a good idea because clearly the sellers are pretty strong. Just want to go back to bed. And we're going to zoom in a little bit more because I was looking at it on the 5-minute because that's where I take my entries, but I was thinking of taking them at the 15-minute because of market movement at the moment. But we can see that we started making this clean correction, a little bit of like, it's still like a lower high when it comes to this high, but pretty much, I would say pretty much clean correction. And then it got to here, and this is when I was thinking of taking an entry. And if we zoom in, like obviously you guys can see the trade that I wanted to take. I wanted to take the continuation after price got back above this level, and I wanted to put my stop loss at whatever the recent low was. So I'm moving the whole thing, my bad. I wanted to put my stop loss ideally right here, so it would have been a 1 to 2, but price was just moving so choppy. So we can see that that's where I wanted to place the trade. So I'm going to delete that now so we can zoom in a little bit more on the 5-minute and see what's actually happening here. So London, it's like, it's a retracement, it's a downtrend, but I would say it's kind of choppy. It's not making those smooth, clean movements that you want to see. Like it's like low, high, lower high, lower low, lower high, chop, 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 lower low. Is that a lower high? It's not lower than this swing, but you guys can kind of get what I mean. Like, it's somewhat choppy of a retracement in my opinion, but maybe I'm overanalyzing it. And then when we kind of came back down to this level, we started pushing above. We're kind of keeping to like the upside of this zone that I had marked out. I'm really explaining this in my own terms right now, but this is just what I was kind of thinking of, but I don't have the experience advanced like trader analysis where I can be like, it reached the 50% mark of the whatever price, blah blah blah. I'm just kind of seeing at the stage I'm at in my trading. So if you guys are looking at this and like, what is this language that she's saying? Like, what is she talking about? She clearly doesn't know what she's talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I just not like, I don't 100% know what I'm talking about because I don't have the experience, but I know somewhat of what I'm talking about, but I just don't have the experience to be able to communicate it in a highly educated tone. But anyway, you can see that it was kind of pretty choppy here, and this is kind of where I was going to take my entry. Like, obviously after seeing the choppiness I wasn't going to take the entry, but this is where I was looking, where I was kind of like taking interest of the chart, because you can see here that buyer volume was stronger than seller volume. Again, buyer volume was really strong, buyer volume was really strong. I didn't even make it to this bit. This is when I was offered the chart before I saw this candle. If I saw this candle, I would have been off the chart immediately. Like, that would have been it for me, but I wasn't awake. I was up for the news. News came out, was it PPI? PMI came out. This was a bearish indication for gold. So I was, again, a bit like, okay, like maybe I shouldn't take a buy. And then I saw this choppiness, and I was basically like waiting for, some type of break above. Like, we got, a swing low around here, and I was like, just wait for price to push up. It never did. You could call this a push up, but even if you wait for like a confirmation, look at like the candles. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overanalyzing, but like, it's not very like strong. It's not a very strong momentum. Like, we've made this. We like got through this consolidation and then finally made a push up, and look at the buyer volume. It's super low in comparison to the previous volume, and then price makes this tiny little candle, but it's already like the volume is higher than the buyer. So you can see that it's a battle here. Price isn't moving anywhere, and that's when I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to take a trade, because I was tired. I was conflicted with what the US government shutdown was going to do. I was thinking, would I be mad that I took this trade if later on if it doesn't fall through? Like, would I be mad? Would I have expected it? Yes. And should I be traded in these market conditions as a beginner? No. So I just got off the chart and I didn't take a trade. Now, I really could have taken a trade, and if the US government shutdown didn't happen, if PMI gave, like, even though it didn't really give like a crazy bullish indication, but it was still above forecast, would I have taken this position? Potentially, honestly. Like, even though we do have like quite a bit of consolidation here, potentially I could have still taken the position if the economy wasn't looking like what it was looking like right now. It could have just been another statistic or like probability in my strategy. Like, I potentially could have taken it. I'm not gonna like guarantee that I would have taken it, because price would have been probably moving a little bit differently at this level with if the US government shutdown wasn't happening. So it was pretty much a very, very clean setup for my strategy, but I'm glad that I was looking at the state of the economy right now, and I wasn't just being like, damn, I have to take this trade. It's like, I may as well sit out tonight. Tonight's the first day of the stock market being open after the government shutdown, so let me just let price do what it wants to do and see how price moves, and then tomorrow I might be able to take trade, because price might present me something, and I'll also have a better idea of how price is going to move. From what I can see here, I don't know if I would say price is moving smooth at all, because in Asia session, yes, it was making trendy movements upwards, making trendy movements downwards, but it literally just opened, went up, and then closed straight back down at the open. Like, you can see, opened here, opened here, went up, and then closed basically right around the side that it opened. So yeah, that's my analysis. I don't know if I'm going to take another trade I don't know if I'm going to take a trade today, but so far we're still on 0 trades for the week. And yeah, these market conditions are just not fun to trade gold in. I hope you guys enjoyed this trade analysis. Sorry if it was a little bit long. I wanted to make sure I covered everything, and I'm sorry if I over-explained a few things. Again, it's 5:30. I'm really, really tired. I've been up since, I want to say like 4. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next trade recap. And make sure if you haven't already, go and check out my trading diaries videos where I talk about the mindset and my thought process while going through a trading journey and hopefully becoming profitable one day soon. And again, a disclaimer, I don't claim to be profitable. I don't claim to be an experienced trader. I'm just learning and documenting my journey as I learn. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great trading week, and you guys hopefully didn't take a trade, or if you did, it was a good trade yesterday. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.